Welcome back to Paws Mongolia YouTube channel. The German Shepherd dog was formally established in Germany in 1899 as a controlled walking breed. It was engineered for function, intelligence, obedience, and adaptability. It was not originally designed as a companion animal in the emotional sense we understand today. It was optimized for utility. However, the meaning of the dog changed significantly once it moved across political and cultural systems. In the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, the German Shepherd was adapted into what became known as the East European Shepherd. The changes were practical: larger structure, stronger resistance to cold climates, and suitability for military and border control. But beyond the physical adaptation, the symbolic role of the dog was expanded. It became associated with discipline, authority, and institutional power. At the same time, media played a parallel role. During the mid-20th century, Soviet and Eastern European film industries consistently portrayed German Shepherd type dogs as loyal, intelligent, and heroic. One widely distributed example is Four Tank Man and Dog, where a German Shepherd named Szarik is not simply a background animal, but an essential member of military unit. From the psychological perspective, repeated visual exposure creates a familiarity. When people continuously see specific breed associated with positive traits, loyalty, intelligence, heroism, they begin to internalize this association. Over time, this shifts perception at the population level. We see similar pattern globally. After a certain film in the United States, a specific breed experienced demand and registration. The relationship between media exposure and breed popularity is not accidental, it is consistent. At the same time, while certain dogs were being elevated through media as a symbol of loyalty and intelligence, animals were also being used in very different ways, often as tools for human progress. One of the most well-known examples comes from the Soviet space program. In 1957, a dog named Laika was sent into orbit. She was a stray dog, selected for her resilience, but the conditions she experienced is extreme. During the launch, her heart rate increases to nearly 3 times its normal level, reflecting a severe stress response. She ultimately died during the mission due to overheating. This moment is often remembered as a scientific milestone, but it also reveals something deeper about the human relationship with animals. At the same time that we were building emotional narratives around the loyalty and companionship, we were also relying on animals for labor, experimentation, and technological advancement, often without regard for their experience. The duality still exists today in 2026. Dogs like a German Shepherd, admired for their intelligence and loyalty, yet they are also among the most heavily utilized breeds in the military, police forces, and working roles. Their value is defined as not only what they are, but by what they can do for us. In Mongolia, during the socialist period, there is a strong cultural and institutional alignment with Soviet Union. This included not only political systems but also media consumptions, film industries, television programs, and cultural narratives from the Soviet sphere were widely present. At the same time, walking dogs, especially German Shepherd types, were introduced through military and institutional channels. This creates a dual influence, physical presence and visual reinforcement. Over time, the German Shepherd became a highly recognized and respected breed in Mongolia. It began to represent intelligence, reliability, and even status. But this is where the consequences become visible. In modern Mongolia, one of the most common types of homeless and abandoned dogs included German Shepherds and other breeds, dogs such as Golden Retrievers. These breeds are often heavily bred due to demand, but not always supported with long-term responsibility. What begins as admiration, shaped by media cultural influence, can lead to overproduction, and overproduction without structure or accountability leads to abandonment. So the same systems that elevates a breed can also produce its vulnerability. This creates a paradox. A dog that's widely seen as intelligent, loyal, and valuable can simultaneously become one of the most neglected when demand exceeds responsibility. And this brings into a broader question. If our perception of the one animal can be shaped so effectively through repeated imagery and narrative, what does that say about how we perceive all animals? Why do some animals receive empathy while others do not? Why is one breed admired while another's ignored? These distinctions often feel natural, but they are largely constructed. Media does not simply reflect reality, it organizes it. It defines what's familiar, what's desirable, and what is worth caring about. In this case of the German Shepherd, we can trace a clear pathway. Breed engineered in Germany, adopted in Russia, emotionally reinforced through film, and then culturally adopted in places like in Mongolia, eventually becoming both highly valued and widely overproduced. This is not just a story about dog. It is model of how influence works. And once you recognize that model, it becomes difficult to ignore because it suggests that many of our preferences that we admire, what we choose, even what we feel compassionate about it, is not entirely our own. They are learned. If they are learned, they can also be changed. Thank you so much for listening, Paws Mongolia. Please visit our website www.pawsmongolia.org.